Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Mark here from Retrophonic Media, and welcome to part 4 of 5 episodes on how to make a hip-hop beat. In episode 4, we're going to take a look at how to make a basic arrangement. This will be very simple, which is just consist of an intro, a verse, a chorus, repeat, and then an outro. There are 2 additional samples we will need in order to do this, those being the crash and the ride, and they will be available to download in the description. Simply unzip and drag them into the digital audio workstation. And with that, let's get right into it. So now we're moving on to arranging the beat. So first you need to open up the playlist and we'll take a look at what's going on here. So we have our 4 elements that we created earlier, which is the drums, the bass line, the lead synth, and the pad. And what we're going to do is just take out everything except for the bass line and the synth at the start, and we'll move the drums to start here. So for the first 8 bars are only going to be, the first 4 bars are going to be the synth, then the next 4 bars are going to be the bass line with the synth, and then by the time we get to bar 9, the track will completely start with drums coming in fully as well. So what we do is we'll just draw it like that, and we'll put the drums in for 6 total, the bass line also for 6 total there, and the lead synth. I'm going to draw in the pad as well. We want the pad to come in about halfway through our verse. This is the start of the verse, this is the end of the verse, the start of the chorus. Pad only wants to come in halfway through. So it's going to build like this. I'll just give you a listen now. So it's a little bit boring right now, so what we might do is come back to the drums at the start, and when we come up here we can either click Shift Control C or on this little drop down and click clone. Now we have drums too, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 variants. This one, the first one, I'm going to delete the kick altogether, and I'm also going to delete the snare. So now it's just the hi-hats on its own, and we come back to the playlist window with F5 and we put that in there. And what we do is again is come back to drum ones and also clone. And this time I'm going to leave the snare in, but I'm going to remove the kick for just the first 3 bars. So it plays at the very end, and when I put that back in here, it sounds like this. Just building towards something a little bit more. So once we get into our verse, then it's just the exact same as that once it drops in until about halfway through where the pad is introduced. Sounding pretty decent so far. So by the time we get to the chorus, we want to come to our lead synth here, and again I'm going to clone this. Shift Control C, go into piano roll, I'm going to hit Control A, and then Control and up. It's going to bring it up exactly 1 octave. Back to the playlist. We're going to put it in here in the chorus. Yeah, so once we get into the chorus, then we have 2 of the synths playing, which sounds like this. Just gives it a bit more life to signify the chorus has started. But the final thing we need to do in order to really give it some life is to add the ride and the cymbal. So I'm just going to name a new pattern, call it crash and ride, and then we got our 2 samples here. I'm going to put them down here. Control L again, F9 to get up the mixer, and both here. And then if you want to be neat and weird like I am, you can do Alt and left once you've clicked on the channel, and you can move them into position with your other drum elements because it's just neater. And I always like having the snare there, so kick, snare, hi-hat, crash, ride. And that's perfect. And what we do then is we open up the crash and we just put 1 at the start here. So if you listen. And then with the ride symbol, what I want to do with the ride is have it on the second half of the first beat. So if that's beat 1, it's halfway through the first beat, and then you just have it repeating then for the rest of the phrase, which goes like that, and should sound like this. And when we add it into the track, it should sound like this. Again, just being neat and tidy. I'm gonna grab all of these and bring them down a little bit, just so I have all my drum elements in the one place. So when you approach the chorus, it will change, sound like this. Definitely adds a lot of life to it. They were a bit quiet while I was playing there, so what I did is I just came up and I maxed them out on the volume here and on the mixer, but they still are a bit quiet. So what you can do is go into the slots for the mixer here, and if I can find compressor, find it there, and you could just add a little bit of gain. I'm gonna add 3 dB to each one, just because they're kind of getting hidden in the mix a lot. And then if you have a listen, that sounded quite good. So what you want to do then is, once you're happy enough with the arrangement, you can simply select all of this, the start of the verse to the end of the chorus. And if you move here, Control C to copy and Control V to paste. Just line it up again by pressing Shift and right. Now we have it there. So that's an intro, 2 verses, intro, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. And then what I'm going to do there is put a second chorus after that chorus, so it repeats. And then for the outro, then simply just go to the bass line and the synth with the pad. And then like that. So once it gets to the end, it'll sound like this. And as well, one thing to note is just at the end of tracks, if you just draw out the pattern itself, just extend it like that, because it gives it room to end. So you can trim that off after you've rendered it, but it just allows the tail of the synth to play out on its own. So yeah, there we go guys, just a few short minutes we managed to make a simple arrangement which is ready to be rendered. In episode 5 we'll have a look at how to render this project to MP3 and WAV format so that you can share it online for other people to hear. And thanks for watching, stay tuned. This is Mark from retrophonicmedia.com.